10-9 Wiley, be thankful unto the Most High, Mother, Father, Creator of the universe. I'm just doing this quick video as a brief reflection on the life or my experience, yeah, with brother Eesa Frimpong yesterday, while I was preparing, in fact, for the burial of my aunt. I was informed of the passing of our dear brother, and I just feel that it was right to kind of do a reflection on him and my experience with him. First of all, though, I do want to send condolences to his family, his parents, and his wife and his children or child. Forgive me if I've got the numbers incorrect there. However, you know, he spoke about his parents a number of times in our conversation, and he never, almost never, I'm sure, spoke about his wife or his daughter without a smile on his face. I learned very quickly that this man was a very proud husband and a very, very proud father. And I admired that quality about him. I admired that dedication to his family. And so, having never met any of you, wife, children, or parents, my condolences go out to you all. And you know, we understand who you have lost because of who the kind of person that we got to know. You know what I'm saying? Just a few things from in my personal experience with Brother Eesa. I met him 2018 at Speaker's Corner, and as a result of that and the context for our meeting, more often than not, when we conversed, it was religious conversation that we were engaged in, and oftentimes debates. I am what would be referred to as an African spiritualist, and obviously our brother was a Muslim, and so many times we had conversations in and around those subject areas and those subject matters. But in an environment whereby those conversations can be and are most often very contentious, that was never the energy between me and the brother. And we always managed to maintain an air of respect. And when I say respect, not no forced respect. I understood clearly, yeah, that he was a Muslim and what his opinion and perspective of African spirituality, as it is called, was and is. And he understood that I was an African spiritualist, and he understood clearly what my perspective on Islam was, yeah, and in particular Islam in relation to its impact upon African people. But we were always able to maintain respect for each other in our conversations, yeah, and grew. I really grew to really respect and appreciate the brother. In fact, today I was watching the last conversation that we had, which was captured on Content Over Everything. I should say the last face-to-face conversation that we had, because we had one other conversation online post that, yeah, but then that was just a week ago, yeah. But I ended the conversation. It was Uncle Danjuma, Brother Dawood, and Brother Eesa, and I ended the conversation expressing the amount of respect that I had for them all. And Brother Eesa responded by reiterating, yeah, that he has a lot of respect for me, and that I am respected, yeah, among, he said, the Muslims. I don't know the extent to which how far he was casting out that net in terms of the Muslims, yeah. But definitely he's speaking for himself and at least the immediate brothers that were there. And that interaction, very brief as it was, really spelled out the relationship that I had got to develop with the brother in spite of our many disagreements, yeah. I think he understood that I had things to learn from him in relation to Islam, and he has things to learn from me in relation to African spirituality and culture. And whenever I asked him a question, he was always willing to answer it, and vice versa. Yeah, he would ask me questions a number of different times about different things, and you know, we had those conversations, you know, and yeah, man, the brother was just a beautifully spirited brother. You know what I'm saying? Knew how to crack a joke. You know, but very, very convicted in what he believed in and what he stood for. And I admire that about him, even if I disagreed with what he believed in. I admire that about him. You don't have to get to know him very long or very, you know what I'm saying, for you to realize that this is a man who has studied and continues to study his faith, yes, and the traditions of his faith. And because of that, I always humbled myself to that wisdom that he had and that I could learn something from him about his faith. I admire people that are willing to go in a little bit deeper and study and evolve. And Uncle Danjuma wrote something on Facebook, and he said that the quality that he most, and I was also reflecting on this. And Uncle Danjuma put it in such eloquent words. And he basically, to paraphrase, is that the quality that he admired most about Brother Eesa was his capacity to evolve and his willingness to evolve. That he had the capacity to listen, take in your perspective, go away, research it, consider it some more, and come back, yeah, with an argument. And I appreciate that about him, not only via seeing it from week to week, but also in terms of how he would relay his own journey. There's many conversations that we had where he would say, you know, I used to think this, but I've studied some more, and now this is where I'm at with it. Yeah, and and sometimes he would say that even in relation to mistakes, like how he might have viewed his faith prior, or certain life, you know, areas of people activity or perspectives, you know what I'm saying, whereby he would have thought, you know, is prohibited or allowed from a faith perspective, and he does more research and it's like, you know, it's not quite the same, or, you know what I'm saying, and he'll give you an explanation. He was always able to give you an explanation for why he's come to a certain particular conclusion. And if he's not sure, if he's in the middle about it, he'll give you both sides and say, well, it could be, you know what I'm saying? The brother was very honest. Yeah? The brother was very honest. And the character of the man, I learned to love. I learned to appreciate very, very much. You know, so yeah. Finally, I just want to say that, you know, in checking out his Facebook page, which I made to understand, a lot of people kind of learned about his passing from his Facebook page. It brought to mind the conversations that I never got to have with the brother. Yeah, and you know, obviously that one of his page, his last post, he was resharing another Muslim brother or sister who was making a statement about racism and not and people not having a proper understanding of what it is and how it manifests in today's world. And obviously that's a conversation that we've had those kind of conversations, but it would have been beautiful to develop on those perspectives even more, because by his own admission he was evolving in his own understanding of such issues. But the one before that was Picard is greater than Cisco is greater than Janeway. I never knew that my brother was an appreciator of the Star Trek, and we never had that conversation. You know, so and that would have been a beautiful conversation to have, because I would have agreed with him up until maybe season 2 or 3 of Deep Space Nine. I should rephrase that. But the point is that there's a debate to be had between Cisco and Picard, although I might agree that Picard is the greater captain in general, but Cisco was my favourite captain. And so I'd love to have that conversation with him, yeah? But outside of that, we did have, you know, some conversations that were not to do with religion at all. I mean, one time, in the middle of a conversation, we got into grime, yeah? And I learned that my brother was a great grime enthusiast, although he had taken a step away from listening to music because of his faith convictions. And so we had that conversation. And one time, he asked me randomly for some advice, yeah, on growing locks, yeah? And, you know, I just appreciate this brother, man. The news of his passing so suddenly was an absolute shock. And he will be sorely missed. Yeah, he will be sorely missed. And for myself, and I know there are brothers and sisters who knew him a lot more than I got to know him. In fact, just Tuesday gone, yeah, sorry, just Wednesday gone. I was actually I'm learning Tree, and every time I used to, you know, drop a treat phrase here or there, my brother would congratulate me, and you know what I'm saying, and he was enthusiastic about it. And I said to him once that one day we'll be able to conduct a conversation exclusively in Tree, yeah, and you know now we'll never get to have the opportunity on this plane of existence, and I'm gonna miss that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? But I just want to appreciate the encouragement that the brother gave me, you know, in that particular journey. You know what I'm saying? And so, once again, I just want to say condolences to his family. Prayers of elevation, yeah, to his spirit, and you know, may he be welcomed, yes, and embraced in whatever form he takes, you know, in the spiritual realm. Yeah. In the Shona language of Zimbabwe, we say Tendai Mwari, which means be thankful unto the Most High, Mother, Father, Creator of the universe. We say Kudzai Muzima Mokulu, give praises unto our great ancestors. And finally, Mwari Mukulukulu. The Creator is the greatest above all greats. Thank you for allowing us to get to know you, Brother Eesa, and we will ensure that your memory is kept, you know, among us. You know, just give thanks, give thanks. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe.